Welcome to tonight's episode of the John Peacock Coaches Show. I'm John Massoni here with head football coach of the Venice Indians, John Peacock. And Coach, last Friday night we had an opportunity to go up to St. Petersburg and have them christen their brand new artificial turf field, which was very nice.
Yeah, it was like carpet out there. Very, very nice facility. That's the first time we played on something brand new like that. Plants was a little old and kind of roughed you up a little bit, but it was a great facility, great playing surface. Rainy all night.
Yes.
So we had to deal with the rain all night, but defense stole the show Friday night. I think we held them to negative yards throughout the night, which hasn't happened very often in the history of since I've been coaching there. It's happened a few times, but the defense definitely dominated, and definitely happy with the performance of the defense.
Final score was 44-0, and again, St. Pete, they're a perennial power in that area, but they're dealing with a few shakeups and different things with some players.
Yeah, they lost a lot of players this offseason, but they're usually a tough team, and I think they're going through some growing pains, and they'll be back. Their head coach is a great guy, great coach too. Like I said before, we played him in the playoff a few times, and he knocked us out in 2009 when we did have a state championship caliber team. And he knocked us out in the first round.
Yeah, no, they've had some success in the past. It goes back even further with Venice and St. Pete, back to '85, when they had some other things as well, where they knocked Venice off in the district. And back then, it was only one team went to the playoff in the district, and that was a big loss for a big win for them, I should say. You talk about the defense, offense in streaks. Had some really nice things happen. A couple penalties here and there took some points off the board, but obviously we went back and still scored. So I guess there was something to build and grow on as far as that was concerned as well. So.
Yeah, there was definitely some good things, good flashes. Like we've been having flashes each week, but we have to take that next step to where we're consistent, and that's the key word. Is we got to be consistent on offense. And we had, like you said, we had 3 touchdowns called back Friday night, and they were calls that we were in the wrong. And we just got to fix a couple things, and they weren't glaring penalties, but at the same time they were penalties, and we got to fix that and make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah, no, because like I said, it wasn't one thing in particular. It was a holding penalty one time. It was I don't think
we're jumping over a defender.
Correct.
One time.
Yeah, which athletically, that was a heck of a play, but you knew right away that was not going to hold up.
It was actually 2 holding calls and jumping over the defender.
Yeah, and so like I said, but again, some outstanding performances. I think the running game really shined as far as everybody. I think the three main runners, which was Nico Della Costa, Brian Taylor, and then DJ Escort. Yep. They all were right around 100 yards.
DJ came out and really impressed me. He hit the hole hard. He got north and south. He finished his. I like to see him finish his runs. He finished every run he had. So those are some really bright spots in the game. And again, we just got to find a way to get the ball in our receivers' hands. Although it was raining, that made it kind of tough. We don't like to use excuses around here, and we'll deal with whatever adversity that's handed to us. And there's a good chance we play in rain Friday night too.
Yeah, no doubt. Speaking of adversity, you said about the rain and everything. So there was a delay, and you're there an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours ahead of the start of the game, and then you have to wait another hour or so more. It can be tough to kind of keep hyped up 15 to 18-year-olds, steady.
Yeah, we had some rough conditions. We were in the locker room for a couple of hours that had no AC.
It got a little warm.
We had to move into the gym with the fans and the cheerleaders, and a lot of distractions going on there. But like I said, there's things that are going to happen, and we just got to attack whatever happens. And that's kind of the way we build our program. Is we're able to withstand whatever comes our way and deal with it appropriately and not make excuses about it.
Well, you said you practice sudden change.
Right.
It's always like, we're doing this now,
Every
we're
day.
doing that now. And that's the thing. And that's what, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Could it be, again, a weather issue? Could it be some other weird thing that happens? A traffic jam on the way up there. There's a million things that can go.
And we get traffic jams for sure.
Oh, we do for sure, especially when you're going north. That's for sure. So again, 44-0. Again, we're talking about little things, but it was a good performance nonetheless, and a shutout, which again they're not few and far between. Absolutely. And one other thing I want to say too is that the number 2s, the second stringers, played very well as well.
Yeah, I knew that going into the season that we were probably going to have the strongest second unit we've ever had, without a doubt. Just because, you look at our team, we have 3 guys that were starters in the spring game against Lakeland that are now on the JV team. So really strong team from top to bottom, to where typically, there's a huge drop off from the starters to the second team guys, and that's not like that this year. We have some very good players that are backups. So I knew that going into the year, like we weren't going to have a huge drop off when we put the second team guys in.
Well, you can tell that also if you just go watch the JV team and see how good they are.
Yeah, no one scored on them yet.
Yeah, and then you see how good they are. You can realize that they had to be a lot of competition to get, and then you got dropped to JV. You're no slouch from the
Right.
JV team. That's for sure. Okay, with that, we again want to thank our host Off the Wagon for everything they do for us here. They're providing a home for the John Peacock Coaches Show. A little later on in the show, we're going to talk to the owner, Tommy Villani, and Tommy's going to talk about some special stuff he has going on here at Off the Wagon, and he'll be on in a little bit. But after this break, we'll come back with the highlights from the St. Pete game. With that, we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility. Absolute Aluminum,
NEALCOMMUNITIES, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show. Welcome back to the John Peacock Coaches Show. Coach, again, we talked about the beautiful field and the great game we had on Friday night. How will we dive into the highlights right away?
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we're able to have a nice drive down the field, and it was capped off with a Brian Taylor touchdown.
Brian ran hard.
Yeah, Brian had a good night. Other than, we got to start doing the little things, other than just run the ball. We got to start playing a full game and being involved in other parts of the game. But he did do a nice job carrying the ball.
And that was a 2-point conversion.
2-point conversion. Unfortunately, we had to go for 2 all night because our kickers forgot the kicking tees, and I was not going to ask to borrow a kicking tee. And you see, we're kicking off somebody's toe there, like we're in Little League.
It was the old time, yeah.
But well, I'll tell you what, the kickoff coverage did a great job. You see Chris George down there making a play, right at the 12-yard line. So that was nice to see. Again, and we can talk about this all night. The defense just really smothered them all night.
And the D-line, I think they were chomping at the bit after playing against IMG the week before against some really big dudes. I think guys their own size, it was nice to probably play against.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, like I said, we just totally smothered them. That was Ramos there on the tackle, and again with also Piggins there. Had a nice game. You see right here, this is one of the touchdowns that got called back, but you see Malachi Wyman. I mean, he's a special dude, and he doesn't move like a 6'5" guy out there.
Smooth runner, and it's just those long strides. He's just 3-4 yards.
Covering some ground for sure. Yeah. And like I said, he gets that ball in space, and he doesn't move quite like a 6'5" guy.
No.
You see again here, you see another 6'5" guy, Wes Wolf, who's a mainstay and a huge weapon for us, make a nice play, a 47-yard touchdown or 49-yard touchdown.
And what you didn't see was the move we put on the guy to get that wide open.
Nice. Great route. And again, defensively, you can see we just were absolutely smothering them. Did they complete a pass?
One
pass.
Yeah, but I put for negative yardage, so it was
You see here's there's another touchdown here in the back of the end zone for Malachi, and you see he kind of has it all. He can run the deep routes, he can run the shallow stuff and make moves and get open. And I love the camaraderie that the receivers have. They cheer each other on, and it would be easy for Wes to be negative about he's not getting all the attention.
I have not seen that one iota.
But that's what makes him special. I mean, that's the good thing. That's what makes those guys special, is they cheer each other on and want each other to have success. You see, this is DJ. You see him turn up for field and get vertical, and he covered 13, 14 yards pretty quickly there.
He's definitely a one-cut guy. No doubt about it.
And Nico had some nice runs as well at the quarterback spot.
Nico runs hard. I mean, right here is really a proof of that.
We had a lot of standing around in the game. We got to get better at finishing plays and finishing our runs, and as far as the blockers and people standing around. Had a lot of standing around and people not really sure if the play was over or not. Again, defensively, it was just a total domination on their part.
I think if I remember my calculations, it might have been at least 10 double-digit tackles for loss on.
I'm sure,
Friday night.
Well, not too much fun for the defensive back, since there wasn't much of a passing.
They didn't have any.
But again, you'll see DJ here. I mean, he makes a great run here, and you see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of standing around and not finishing.
Yes.
So we got to get better at that part of the game.
And you can see, not to make the field, that was again almost like a shag carpet. It was beautiful, and you didn't see a lot of slipping in a game where there was a steady rain the entire time.
Yeah,
and
that's
a deluge
true.
Before that too.
And I also liked our tempo Friday night was good, a lot better than it was the week before, and I think we're starting to understand what we're trying to look for when we're talking about tempo.
Yeah, they did get out of the huddle quick. They were on the line of scrimmage quick. That was good.
Again, nice run by Nico.
And coming off the ball good, because you can see guys that they're downfield 5 yards before.
We did a great job play side all night. We had a few missteps backside where backside tackle made some plays, but but other than that, the O-line did a real good job.
And Brian Taylor ended with 3 touchdowns on Friday night, so it was he found the end zone and 2 extra points, or 2-point conversions, which are good.
Yeah, nice play out there by Rayer. Rayer did a nice job on that play.
That was the one complete pass, by the way.
Oh yeah, for negative yards. You see Jeb Schrader making a play there. I mean, we could have pretty much showed every clip on defense. I mean, it was just that they played that well Friday night.
Yeah, and Jeb stepped up. He had a nice statistically as well. That's Pracher.
Yeah, Pracher and DeSavion. Yeah, DeSavion's getting better each week. Like I told you, week 1, we were going to see a lot of improvement here throughout the year.
He'll get comfortable in that position, that's for sure.
You see again, a couple of guys that are always working is Malachi and Wes, and you see they're working. Actually, DJ's out here working as well, but there's an awful lot of other guys standing around that we got to fix. That's not what we want when, especially when we're breaking away.
And you see how we actually went back on that play because there was a penalty, and it was really just a hustle play that kind of got kind of a tough situation.
See Malachi again. This is what I'm talking about. He doesn't move quite like a 6'5" guy. I mean, he gets vertical quick and makes some good moves, and he's pretty shifty out there. And this is the penalty here we got called right here for jumping over this fella.
You just can't do that. But but again, it's a heck of a play, and too bad it happened on a scoring play. But we all kind of knew it when it happened. It was like, that's just not. It's for the safety of the kids, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the total ruling goes out. I thought it was something where if the guy is diving at you,
you can,
but I'm not quite sure on all that stuff. You see, Schrader's another guy that's always working. You see him there at the end of the play, finishing the play. Again, nice catch by Malachi.
And there is Brian's third touchdown of the night.
Yeah, we were able to handle them pretty well physically, and this is the two defenses. You see, they're coming in, they're hungry to get the ball. You see, everybody's around the ball right there. That's always nice to see. Like I said, we have a really strong second group, stronger than we've ever had, and they get to the ball and they're excited to play. And it's you see right here. I mean, they're getting after those
Josh
guys.
Stewart.
You see the last 2 plays, 11 people around the ball. Yeah, Josh Stewart in the play there.
Yeah, so they're definitely they said there was a heck of a lot of enthusiasm. And I think it's always sort of on their you're up by, they got a goose egg on the board. They don't want to give it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's nice to see them kind of
And
defend
the
that.
years past, every time we put the 2s in, it was like bam, right away we lost our shutout.
Right.
I don't foresee that happening this year. This is Malachi's first punt return.
Yes.
And I think we've been trying to contemplate him or Platt. I think we have 2 good punt returns in there, but this is a safe punt, and we're having everybody run off the field, and we're like, turn around, block. And like I said, he doesn't move like a 6'5" guy. He's special, and he's got some burst to him, and those strides. I mean, he might not be a 4.3 guy, but after he gets going, he's as fast as there is.
Yeah, it's kind of a big, wide comparison, but like Usain Bolt had the same type of long stride, and is he moving? And then you realize he's just dusting people for sure.
Yeah, this is Overstreet. He did a nice job when he came in, threw some nice balls, and
he hit Platt twice on some nice throws here.
And we're going to get him involved in the game, or try to get him involved in the games a little bit more. He's throwing the ball well, and we just need to get the ball to our receivers. So
that was the highlights from the Friday night's game. 44-0 again was the final score. And Coach, like what we said earlier, you can kind of see we definitely handled the St. Pete pretty easily. But again, like you talked about, some hustle issues, some things you can work
definitely
on.
some things we got to fix, and like I said, I think physically we kind of outmatched them, and them being a wing T team, and once they got behind, it kind of makes it tough for you to run that kind of offense.
Yeah.
And they didn't have much of a throwing game, but there are definitely some things that we need to fix. We didn't walk away from there, feeling too great.
Right, and especially at halftime, I think everybody kind of felt that there was everybody was sort of in a bit of a daze.
Right.
I mean, they came out and handled their business in the second half, and then the twos came in. That's always a positive when they can come in there, because injuries and whatnot. And I think a lot of kids don't think about it when they're second string. We'll get in when this and that. Hey, you might not go in with your buddy. You might be standing next to the other starter at inside linebacker, or the other starter on the defensive line, and you're going to be the guy. So that bit of experience for a prolonged period of time in a game like that is invaluable. Right. And you don't want you get tired of hitting your own teammates. I like that, no doubt.
No, it's definitely different when you get in the game.
All right, when we come back from our next break, we'll have a guest on, Tommy Villani, who is the owner of Off the Wagon, and he'll be talking about something. And then when we come back from that segment, we'll have something talking about as far as some updates in regards to what the weather has done to our schedule and a few things that we're working on at this point to get everything going. So when we come back, we'll talk to Tommy Villani from Off the Wagon here at Off the Wagon. See you soon.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility: Absolute Aluminum,
NEALCOMMUNITIES, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show. And welcome back to the John Peacock Show. Tonight we have an opportunity to have a special guest with us, and that's Tommy Villani, the owner of Off the Wagon, our host for all of the shows this year for the John Peacock Show. And Tommy's here with a special cause, something that's obviously very current and very important, which is some relief for the Hurricane Dorian folks down in the Bahamas.
Definitely. If anybody's been glued to the TV like I have, obviously, the last few days, and feels like weeks now at this point, we know how bad Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas. So we partnered up with the Law Place, which is a law firm up in Sarasota, and we're going to start doing a supply drive here. We'll be one of the drop-off centers for supplies. So we've had a lot of success in the past. Hurricane Michael came through last year.
Big time.
We filled up an entire semi last year to send up there. A couple years ago, we had Hurricane Irma. We sent a couple trailers down to the Keys for that as well. So we've had a lot of success. This obviously, it's almost unfathomable what we're seeing down there. So we really need as many people to turn up and help as possible.
Obviously, we were chatting a little before we got on the show when we talked about what we saw just on the TV. We really don't know, some of the extent until maybe a couple weeks out, how many people on these barrier islands and whatnot are really facing a lot of issues. Some of the mechanisms that are in place to get everything over there. You're also partnering with a flight.
Yes, so the Law Place actually partnered up with Universal Flight Training, and they've managed to provide, from what I understand, 8 planes and 8 pilots that will leave on Wednesday next week, so that'll be the 11th. Right. And they'll be flying down to Nassau since there's no ability to get to Abacos or Freeport or Grand Marsh or anything like that right now.
Absolutely. And some of the items that people can bring by that would be helpful. Obviously, there's a lot of things that they're going to need, but just the real important stuff you have kind of a list
right.
That,
so any canned goods, foods, obviously non-perishable items, box food items, toiletry, toothbrushes, anything that some baby supplies, diapers, food, bottles, formula, bottled water, Gatorade, charcoal, matches, batteries, anything, obviously, even if we're going a little bit bigger, some battery powered fans. Just remember, there's no AC down there right now. There's no power right now. People don't have homes right now. So air mattresses, bedding, blankets.
And all this stuff they're talking about, the complications of getting everything back up to speed. It could be years before they get everything back up to speed as far as getting the electricity back in certain places and everything's because everything is sort of so spread out in smaller islands and smaller spots. So it's going to be very important to get a lot of these supplies down there as fast as possible so people can get back to their normal lives.
Right. I mean, and normal is just such a term that we can't even, start to really think about. I mean, we saw the damage that happened during Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And we're talking about an island that's minuscule in size to that, with a hurricane that sat over it for what feels like maybe 48 plus hours at this point.
Oh, easily that long.
So obviously, we haven't even started to see the majority of the footage, the pictures. But what we have seen already is kind kind of puts a little pit in your stomach. So
You talk about Category 5 hurricane, that when it comes through in a 15 to 20 minute span, the damage it does. Talk about a storm that parked itself on top of the Bahamas and didn't move for hours and hours, maybe a full day it did not move. So yes, there'll be a lot of damage, a lot of stuff that needs taken care of. And this is obviously a great cause that you guys are doing. You said you've done this before, so you probably have a good hand on things. And like I said, we were talking also how we said that, folks, if you were out there getting ready for Dorian to come across to our area, you've probably stocked up on these things. So if you've got it already there and you don't know what to do with it and you've got extra batteries, it's a time to go help others.
right. I mean, it's imperative to know that you can't return food, you can't return water.
Correct.
Things like that must be destroyed upon receiving back into stores and stuff like that. Let's put it to good use. Let's bring it here. We've got the right people. We've got the right assets in place. We're going to be able to get these down to the islands really quickly, which is not usually the case. So we've got a great opportunity to do something really awesome here. So like I said, we filled up a semi last year. We've got 8 planes to fill up. I know we've got about 5 or 6 different drop-off centers. I'll run through them real quick.
That'd be great.
So the Law Place, which is up in Sarasota, Universal Flight Training, which is in Sarasota, obviously us at Off the Wagon. There's an IHOP in Riverview, Florida. There's the Law Place in Tampa. Our friends up at Beach Club Siesta Key, and our very good friends at Sign in One Day on Bee Ridge. So those are all places. And if you go to our Facebook page, I'll have the flyer up. I'll have all the information up as far as what we want to donate and stuff.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And while we got you here, again, thanks for having us there every week. We really enjoying our stay here at Off the Wagon. Anything coming up for you guys outside of the hurricane relief stuff?
Obviously summer's kind of our downtime a little bit. We've had a couple really solid months, but we're about to close down for a couple days here in 2 weeks. We're gonna do a remodel of the kitchen, do some remodeling on the floor and stuff like that, and then we'll be pretty much ready to hit it running in October and back into season. So, and we've also got a new concept coming up down in the West Villages. It's going to be Irma's Tacos, craft beer, and tequila bar. And we're talking about the hurricanes. Obviously, we were one of the only places open after Irma's, which is why we served nothing but tacos that day after. We had 500 people in here eating nothing but tacos.
It's amazing what spawns different stuff.
And now we've got a cool taco concept that's coming based on that. So obviously, it's a cool story. It's something we all came together here, and we'll continue to hopefully be able to help everybody as these storms continue to happen over time.
Absolutely. So, folks, if you can make it down here, bring some supplies for the Hurricane Dorian, people down in the Bahamas. They're suffering down there. They're going to need a lot of help. So you come down here, drop it off the wagon. Some great entertainment, some really good food.
Yep.
I had the steak salad tonight, so that was really, really good. So I was going to tell me what I eat every time I'm here. So again, come on by. It's a great cause, and we'll get some help down to the people. In the
we'll
Bahamas.
be collecting until next Tuesday. So
Awesome.
all the way through next Tuesday.
Awesome, Tommy.
Right.
Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. I
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
all your help with us in the show. I really do appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Absolutely.
All right, guys, we'll be back here to wrap up the last part of the John Peacock Coaches Show after these messages.
We also like to thank the following sponsors for making this show a possibility. Absolute Aluminum,
NEALCOMMUNITIES, because where you live matters,
Sarasota Orthopedics Associates,
and E.T. McKenzie. And a special thanks to Off the Wagon for hosting the John Peacock Coaches Show. And we're back here for the last portion of the John Peacock Coaches Show. And Coach, just talking to Tommy about what's going on or what happened with Hurricane Dorian, and it's rough to see what's happening in the Bahamas right now, or what happened earlier this week. And it's just, you hope that all the aid and everybody can gather around and get some things over there to help those folks in the short term, and then obviously repair everything for the long term.
Yeah, absolutely. We did get some exciting news earlier in the week that we are going to be able to get our game in against
and that's
this
where I was
week.
going to bridge to the fact that even though we were fortunate enough to not really have any effects except a little wind and rain and a lot of TV watching for a few days, that we did lose our game with Vero Beach, and now we are going to replace it with, and you'll get you present that.
Trinity Christian out of Jacksonville Trinity Christian, and traditionally a powerhouse. They play basically a national schedule, so it'll be great for our kids to compete, and it'll be very good for our RPI as well.
Yes, no doubt. And like I said, and to manage to get a game against, again, a very highly touted, maybe top 10, 15 team in the state, that it's a nice replacement in a very short window to do it.
Right, yeah, and we're going to face a quality opponent. We're kind of behind the 8 ball as far as preparation time. We only got to prepare 2 days for them.
Yeah.
A Wednesday and a Thursday. But with that said, like we don't make excuses.
No.
It is what it is, and sudden change. And hey, we were playing Vero, now we're going to play Trinity Christian, and it is what it is, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll.
And I think again, the back to that sudden change situation, you don't know. Like we talked about earlier in the show. Hey, you don't know it's going to rain. You don't know if you can hit traffic. Now you've got to travel 4+ hours. And everything's been arranged to get all that done, and I'm sure the kids are just going to take it as in stride, because it's just another thing that happens, and you got to deal with it, and you're going to go play a great team and hopefully have a great game.
Yeah, and it'll be good competition, so it won't be, we'll be pretty evenly matched. It won't be a case where we're playing national power like IMG, or it won't won't be a case like we're playing St. Pete. So
Sure.
It'll be two teams that are in the top 25 in the state of Florida. So it'll be great competition. I think they're going to live stream the game, so it'll be a good possibility. Those of us that are back home,
Right.
People that are back home, can watch the game, which will be exciting for that. And in the future, I want to tell you also, we need to tell everybody also that we're going to do an additional 30 minutes each week when we talk about
Right.
our opponents. Starting on our next show, when we have a game or a week where we're playing an opponent, and we'll spend an extra 30 minutes on the game plan and what to expect and what they look like, and a little bit maybe about their personnel that we're playing, and maybe about any personnel changes on our behalf, and kind of just give the fans a little inside look, which we'll stream on YouTube right after the show. And we're also going to try. I think we failed at being able to put the show up here live at Off the Wagon, but I think we do. We will I think we'll do it. We'll have to have a set time to where we're
Yes.
going to live stream it on Tuesday nights.
Right, we're looking to do is a Tuesday night, somewhere around 7:45 to 8 o'clock would be the starting time. And then if folks are here, we've been talking about possibly even taking some questions.
Yeah, we'll put a number up, and they can maybe
yeah.
text the number, give them a phone number they can text questions to if they have any specific questions about the game, and we'll answer them on the show.
Yeah, we had done a podcast a few years ago, and it has a
Right.
similar feel to it, where you and I are talking, and then we can kind of get some interjections
Right.
from some folks. And it kind of makes it a little, because, as the season wears on, people watching, they got a question, or things start to evolve.
Right.
And then a little bit of that is, it's a little less structure, maybe a little bit more, like I said, inside stuff that we can talk to folks. So look for that starting next week. And again, we'll post some things probably on our team page.
Well,
and
next
some other
week,
things.
depending on if we have a game the following week, but we are trying to fill a game in the following Friday as well. We'll kind of see where that happens, because there's a lot of teams that lost games on the other coast that are going to be looking to fill their spots.
And just by chance, we have week 4 open. We didn't expect to have
Right.
open, so that's something we can work on. So yeah, we'll probably have more updates.
But
as
definitely the
goes
week
on.
after, leading up to the Riverview game, we'll be doing it.
Absolutely. And so Jacksonville Trinity Christian. I guess you're going to prepare like you prepare for anybody. You're just going to go out there and do your thing, and hopefully by the time you get a few minutes into the game, you got your tempo down and everything good to go. And like I said, we talked about travel and whatnot, but it's going to be a long day. But I'm sure it'll be a good day. I think
Right.
that'll be good, because playing a game instead of not playing a game is better.
Oh, there's no doubt, and especially playing a good quality opponent, that'll really help us.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, that goes back to the whole thing of why the schedule is what it is.
Right.
Because we are trying to get better, sharpen up everything as we go, and of course then the point system, which obviously is a huge part of what we do.
And like I
these
said,
days.
they play a great schedule. They play a tough schedule like we do, so it'll be both good for both of our teams for the RPI.
No doubt. All right, Coach. Well, thanks again for being here for the John P. Coaches Show, and let everybody know, please, if you can do anything for the relief effort that Off the Wagon is doing and helping the people down in the Bahamas with the Hurricane Dorian problems. Come down here and drop off whatever you can. We talk waters, different supplies,
Yeah,
batteries,
they have a
anything like
big
that.
storage area. Just whatever you can afford, or whatever you can bring by, that'd be great.
And that'll be going to the next Wednesday, I believe, here, and there's some other locations. And go ahead and come on down and drop that stuff off. They'll be more than happy to take it. With that, Coach, once again, thanks for coming tonight. Had a good night here at Off the Wagon, and we'll see you here next time on the John P. Coaches Show.